Good evening once again, and welcome to another edition of Caribbean Feedback. My name is Curtis Henry, and I will be your moderator this evening.
That's
as we
right.
come together with this intelligent group of people here. I didn't say so, the listeners say that you're all intelligent.
That's right.
As far as I'm concerned, the jury is still out. But we're here anyway to discuss AI this evening. Now, when I say AI, we're not talking about Allen Iverson.
Yeah.
AI as in artificial intelligence.
That's right.
A lot of us claim that we're intelligent and we're here to dominate the planet and we're supposed to have dominion over all things and we rule. But yet still we are creating stuff, we are creating gadgets that somehow tend to be smarter than us. I hope that somewhere in the conversation this evening, we can be able to shed some light as to where this thing came from. Who's running the show? Who's the puppet masters?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm hoping you all can shed some light on it. So tell me something, people, how you all doing this evening? Miss Forrester.
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
That's all?
Wait,
You
she
well?
frozen?
That's it. Short and sweet. No, I'm not frozen.
I am not seeing.
It looked like
Karin
you was
seems to be moving in
It looked like you was
slow
frozen there
motion.
for a second too. It looked like all it was
Mr.
frozen
Archer,
there for...
talk to me.
Well, you hear me?
I'm good. Mr. Archer, how are you doing today?
Yeah. Curtis, you might need to tap your computer a little bit there. I am doing very good. You know, I have a glass of a little drink here, and there's no ginger in it, okay?
I have some plain, nice ice cold water. That's
Or
all
it
I
is sorrel, real
Cheers.
sorrel.
Cheers, Karin. I know what's going on with the rest of them. This is our 88th episode. Thank you very much.
need. Wow.
Dr. Judith, what going on with her over there?
Hello.
She's
Where did sniffle
sniffling.
come from?
This is what the sniffle
Where did
business.
sniffle come from?
I
What
told you
going on,
don't come on
Georgia?
the show crying over nobody. Why you come here crying over me?
Is you are crying over? Sorry.
Do people
Hi,
cry
folks. How are
under?
you all doing?
Do people cry over? Do they cry under?
Under the bed.
Miss, you better N95 that stuff. I hear it travel across the computer now. I don't know.
Could be the virtual reality, next virtual reality to catch a cold through VR.
Well, here what's going on. My computers are Apple, so no virus could come through.
No virus
Go
coming.
on, boy. Go on. Defend the apple. Defend the
That's
apple.
right.
We're done now.
So if we have Apple, what is the need for McAfee, or however you pronounce it? What is the need for that on the Apple if it's bulletproof?
Who says bulletproof?
Extra
There's no
shield.
need.
Yeah.
Virtual
Virus
shield.
proof. It's virus proof. It never says bulletproof.
There's no need.
Okay.
It's a virtual shield. We're talking about virtual reality, right?
Oh, so does it really exist
In the virtual world, yes, it does.
in the virtual world? I don't know. So people,
The
here's what
meta-
we're gonna do. Let's get the show on the road quickly, and let's nail this thing and get the facts out, get the information out, and hopefully we can learn something. We can maybe drop one pearl of wisdom that someone didn't know. this
Did you
evening.
guys tell Lucy good night? You all told Lucy good night?
No, I
did.
didn't see. I didn't
None of you
realize she
did.
came.
I did.
Hello, Lucy.
Hi, Lucy.
Lucy O'Brien, good night. Good night. Thank you so much for joining us.
I don't
Sam?
want you to send me any rough emails, you know? So we taking it away?
Yeah, man, run the thing.
We're going to run the thing.
My name is Karin Forrester. I represent BantuKreations. BantuKreations offers beautifully made, African-inspired, lightweight, handcrafted, one-of-a-kind earrings in wonderful shapes, shades, sizes, and colors. Please don't be scared of the large sizes. They're extremely lightweight earrings. BantuKreations can be found on IG and on Facebook as BantuKreations. That's BantuKreations with a K.
Justina.
What's up, everybody? I'm Win Vu, award-winning remixer.
I'm an artist. Hi, my name's Justina Bethel.
Hi, I'm Mike Bowen from Denton, Texas.
How you doing? This is Tom Cutt from Music by Tom Cutt. Check out Samuel E. Archer's book, Hybrid Executive. We are in the business, and here's how you can be a better business person because you're running your business.
You can find my music at JustinaBeth_EL on Instagram or JustinaBethel.com, and I am a hybrid executive.
I'm a hybrid executive.
I'm a hybrid executive, just like you.
Follow me at Koya Music, and I'm also a hybrid executive.
I'm worldwide, baby, but just know I'm a hybrid executive. That's all you need to know, baby.
Get on up, E.
Check out my music, MikeBowen.com. I'm a hybrid executive.
I'm a hybrid executive.
Again. Artificial intelligence.
That's right.
Before we begin, we need to ask the question, what is artificial intelligence and where did it come from? According to some of the scholars, the scientists, they say it's basically a technique of getting machines to work and behave like us. But judging from some of the things that are reported on the 7 o'clock news and the 10 o'clock news, I am not sure that's such a good thing. If machines start behaving the way some of us humans do. The term artificial intelligence, this isn't some new theory that came straggling along during the 90s along with the internet. No. This term was actually coined way back in 1955-56 by a gentleman named John McCarthy. McCarthy, there's no H. John McCarthy. And while most of us tend to think of artificial intelligence as robots governing our daily lives, and a lot of that may be correct on many levels, but not in the traditional sense of what we've grown accustomed to seeing on television. Some humanoid looking robot cooking and cleaning our homes like the Jetsons. No, not like that. Artificial intelligence is already present in our daily lives. It creeped up on us in some very sophisticated ways, and we welcome it with open arms. Artificial intelligence is present in the vehicles we drive. It is present in face recognition software in our cell phones that we've grown so accustomed to. Oh yes, my new phone, I can just scan my face and the phone turn on, or use my thumbprint. Yeah, that's artificial intelligence. It's present in your coffee maker. You see, all of these improvements are still considered weak artificial intelligence. Yeah, we may look at them and say, yeah, my smartphone, yeah, that's weak artificial intelligence. Because this technology is capable of doing so much more. Strong artificial intelligence is now being used in machines that possess the ability to perform any intellectual task that a human can perform. If you doubt me, try playing a game of chess against the computer. Try it. Tell me if you win. Tell me if any of the chess champions, world champions, have ever beaten the computer.
They have.
Are we at risk of being replaced by artificial intelligence? I mean, Elon Musk seemed to think so. He said it's a fundamental risk to the existence of human civilization. Tell me, panelists, what do you think? Are we at risk of being replaced?
We're not at risk at all.
Why not?
Because the people who create these technologies are being subdued. So if you're going to subdue the people that create the technology, yeah, it will feel or seem as if the technology will be taken over. But the people who create the technology, which are mostly on a melanated level, once we as human beings could start behaving ourselves and stop depriving each other from living, there's really no fear. Because, think of something, it is the term artificial. It means that it's, in a way, not real. It's like Kool-Aid, right? Artificial flavoring, artificial this, artificial that. So it's sort of like, creating a glass so you could hold some juice, you see? Or you'd have to go to the fountain and get it. But if you have a glass, you could put some juice in it, or water, or whatever you want, rum, tea. And the glass is a form of technology. Your glasses is a form of technology. So,
but go back to what you said. Couldn't the artificial substance eventually corrode the very same creation that you're talking about?
Do I mean corrode?
Just like how that drink, that artificial flavored drink, could corrode and destroy the inside of a human being. Could this artificial intelligence that we're putting into certain things destroy humanity?
Well, it's like a knife, You peel orange, cut onion, cut meat, or you could use it to cut yourself. Or you
but
could.
The knife don't think, though. The knife doesn't think.
There
you
go.
The knife doesn't do anything. The knife doesn't analyze. You apply the pressure with the knife, but these intelligent machines that they're talking about, they are now talking where those machines can think and operate on analyze stuff on their own. Isn't that a dangerous situation?
You see, again, it has to be programmed. So if it's going to be doing something against life, it will have to be programmed to do that.
And fail safes are always in place.
Well, the fail safes is for the people who want to keep the control going.
Fail safes are always in place.
So like recently there were some little things flying around in the air that could have probably been artificial intelligence, and now they turned it off, or maybe put it at bay, or maybe kind of lower the numbers down. And that sort of turned out where, certain mandates were reduced, and I'm kind of speaking hypothetically here. So, technology is there. So the fear is where you program it. You guys used to look at $6 Million Man. You used to look at that TV show?
Yeah.
Curtis, you're a fan of $6 Million?
No, those days I had no television, sir.
You didn't watch Bionic Man and Bionic Woman?
Sir, I just said in those days I did not possess a television. I grew up in abject poverty. We did not have electricity, furthermore, to own a television.
Okay, did any of your friends relate to you or play with you in school as if they were the Bionic Man or Bionic Woman?
I caught wind of some conversations as to what it was about at that time.
So anyway, there was a certain episode where they had robots walking around like humans. And then if you ask the robot something that it was not able to compute, it was like, this is not in my programming. So the whole idea is that there has to be some sort of programming going on. Now, if things get to the point, like, when we look at movies like The Matrix and what's the other one with Arnold Schwarzenegger there? Terminator.
Mm-hmm.
Where the machine actually is thinking and making choices
outside the box, so to speak,
and creating new things, creating programs by itself to outdo the human. There's a chance we're looking at too much TV, but at the same time, when it gets to that point, it has to be attached to some kind of life force or some sort of a system. if you're going to call it that. So, you know, again, artificial intelligence, you know, it shouldn't really be something that's scary. You know, it's just to be something that we should be able to say, okay, you know.
But should be, Sam, should be. That's the key thing in what you're saying, Sam. But one of the main architects of artificial intelligence right now is Elon Musk. And if you spend 1 hour listening to this guy, he seems almost afraid of the capabilities of AI. Listen to Elon Musk. This man practically sounds like doomsday is inevitable.
The creator of PayPal?
Yes, same guy.
Okay, that guy.
Who uses AI right now in his Tesla vehicles.
Okay. So, but that's my point. You know,
my main concern is that the laws or regulations can't keep up with the pace of all these developments. So a lot of these larger companies get away with murder, meaning that they're abusive with their new technologies for years before regulations are placed to say, okay, you can do this or you can't do this. That's a problem throughout. Especially, I don't know what these vessels you were talking about a few minutes ago, Sam, but like drone technologies is just out of control. If you can afford a drone, you can buy a drone, and you can use it in almost any manner that you want to. So the laws have not caught up with.
Well, some places
can do this.
Some places have regulations if you're going to use a drone. If you have a drone, it may say, okay, you know, you could only go yay high or yay close to a settlement of some sort. But we have been using drones in terms of, you know, filmmaking. Drones have been used to drop medications off. You know, so if you've had an issue, they can send you something. You know, if it's a heart issue you have or some organ is you know, they can send you something via drone.
No, the function is really, you know, fantastic.
But the problem is when we start taking these things now, you know, this is where the saying says, you know, the road to salvation is paved with good intentions. So when man takes it and goes the other way,
that's what I'm saying, abusing the technology.
Right. So that's when it really goes in a whole other direction.
Right.
So that's probably where Mr. Musk is getting worried, because, you know, things are being programmed
and weaponized
in a different way. And if you're going that way with it, then, you know, it's almost like, who is really looking for the person that left out the petri dish? You know, no one is looking for that person. They just look at the end game and say, well, yeah, you need to go and do this and you need to go and do that. It's the same thing. If we're going to have the technology coming, you know, you got to be prepared for it. But the good thing is that mankind has prevailed and mankind will prevail.
You mentioned just now medical delivering medicines. Let me, if Karin could elaborate on this. How is AI being used in the medical field today?
They have a lot of surgery centers assigned to certain universities and hospitals where AI allows you like a 360-degree look at your patient. I mean, everything is sort of customized for the patient, and you can see all aspects, something that you just didn't have access to medically before. And they, you know, cyber technology, cyber tactic tools, almost robotic tools to do precision move, you know, slice it sounds terrible. It's precision incisions and stuff like that, you know. So it's come a long way, and that 360 view is just an amazing thing, and less invasive because you can do smaller incisions and you can see tumors more clearly, and you know, because it expands. It's not just in the tools, but also in the machinery, your MRI type equipment. Now you can see exactly where a particular tumor is, where the injury of, you know, the heart muscle. So it's an amazing thing.
So what about disease analysis? We're talking about looking at the disease, but Is AI being used in disease analysis, or is that still being diagnosed by a doctor per se, or is it being done by machines?
It's to a certain extent, some things can be done by machines, like your Skyping over the last two years, Skyping and using AI to do the assessment because you physically can't see the patient in the clinic, the hospital, or the surgery center. But I know for a fact that you still physically need to see the patient. I don't care how wonderful the design of a robot or robotic equipment is. There's nothing that equals my or somebody else being able to look at that patient in person and assess. The AI can assess body temperature, organs, flow of the heart, blood through the heart muscle. It can do all of that. But when I look at you, I can say, something is wrong. That AI still cannot. You can look at facial structure and all of that, but you can't really do a proper assessment unless you're in a one-to-one. You do the best you can if you're in a different countries doing you know that Skyping and all of that, but you still have to see the patient. There is nothing equal to that, and I'll stick with that till the day I die. A machine cannot assess the way a human being can, because we're looking at different things, not just color of skin, skin integrity, eyes, teeth, mouth, body temperature, and all of that. We're looking way beyond that as humans.
So, Dr. Judith, should we be careful what we wish for? Are we prepared?
I think that we wish for many things that are not necessarily sensible for us to have. But because we have been given the ability to think and hope and wish, like the sky's the limit. I keep hearing the word artificial, and every time I hear it, all I'm thinking, it ain't real. That's how my mind works. I remember talking to somebody at a bank about, I think it was a bank, someplace about my account, and they were saying, well, the computer automatically said, I said, ma'am, stop there. I said, do not tell me a computer automatically does anything. Human beings feed the computer, and they then react and send out a bill. The reason why the computer knows to spit out that bill is because you or somebody that's in your company rigged it to do that. Do not tell me that the computer came in at 9 o'clock in the morning and went about the office and went through the bills and said, well, Judith Barnes' bill is due today. So I have issues. I think man, capital M, continues to think that they're going to fix the world and make it better. You cannot put a soul in a machine. As Karin just said, no matter how good you are, you can assess things by Zoom and Skype and all these things. But one-on-one, a doctor-patient, you can't beat that. Now, some doctors are not very good with their skills at observation. I've had some of those. And they're not in tune to really pick up on different signals in the human behavior, which, by the way, the human behavior affects the human physical condition. Quite often, Karin and I was talking today about psychosomatic illnesses. So a machine cannot pick that up. Even if you train the machine to do certain things, after a while, I can have a skill, and I'm very good at I do the skill well, but there's something missing. There's one little thing, whether it's a level of empathy or compassion. There's the rub, compassion. A machine is not going to have it. And I think that the more we try to do that is the more foolish we look. But the more we look foolish is the more we want to convince ourselves that we're not that foolish. And I think at times the attempt to appear not to be foolish makes us very foolish. So I think that, like I said, I keep hearing artificial, and I'm like, it ain't real. If it ain't real, what do I want to do with it? But we keep thinking, it's like people think that I'm gonna cut off some time by going, like, sometimes you're driving I found a shortcut. And the truth of the matter is that often the shortcut is just maybe a minute, 2 minutes difference. And we think we have found something great. The bottom line is that we cannot conquer. We cannot, I will never conquer this thing, this human thing here. It's not going to be done. So, and I'm concerned about why we keep need to do it, why we keep desiring to do it. But it reminds me of a story that many people don't want to be told because it sounds crazy. It's in that wonderful famous garden. And they said, eat of every tree except that one. And from that day till now, we're still going after everything we're told not to do. Everything that we must conquer, we must find out. No, I don't want that. That's too easy. Let me go into the moon and tell people on Earth how we can barely figure out how to walk straight on this Earth, and we want to go to the moon and conquer what? So, does that answer the question?
We like the dust up there. I just wanted to throw in that a very important shortcut on the planet right now is the Panama Canal, because I'm trying to understand if you're in the Pacific Ocean and you need to come to the east, what would be the fastest way to get to the eastern side? So you'll need the Panama Canal for that. But in terms of the human aspect, just to play the devil's advocate, there's some artificial intelligence that are also learning on the fly, meaning that as it interacts with humans, it's also learning what the human will do. So that's just piece of the action. But I really jumped in so that we can tell folks to make sure you like, subscribe, and share the information, and on Facebook, hit the thumbs up, and so on. So back to you.
I've been holding on to this thought ever since someone mentioned with the programming of the machines in terms of putting the information in there. And just to digress a bit and tell about a story, a little experience I had, I went to a particular restaurant, which I'll leave nameless, with a colleague of mine, and he bought rice and peas, chicken, vegetables, plantain, and proceeded. I said, okay, I don't want no chicken. Hold the curry chicken. Just give me the rice and vegetables. And she proceeded to pick up the plantain with the same tongs she was using for the jerk chicken. I said, no, I don't want to keep the plantain. Just give me the rice and vegetables. Upon arriving to the register, my guy paid $6.50 for his meal, and I was charged $9 because mine is a vegetable meal. So that's what the computer stated, that mine is a veggie meal. So that's $9. And even though you kept your chicken, you kept your plantain, right? And all I got was a little scoop of vegetables and the same amount of rice. I eventually paid more because the computer said it's a vegetable meal, which is more expensive. Than a chicken.
Right. A vegetable meal is more healthier. So you pay the price.
Pay the price to be healthy. That's right.
To be healthier.
But my point is, it didn't contain any more vegetables. It contained the same amount of vegetables that he got, the same amount of rice that he got, minus the chicken, minus the plantain. But the computer said it's a vegetable meal. So your price is $9.80.
So they have more programming. They have more programming to do there.
Yeah, and this is something I couldn't understand because I kept trying to reason with them, and they stated, well, the computer says that it's my hands are tied.
Yeah, that's just being a thief. That's just being a thief.
So back to that question.
Yeah, call the supervisor.
Oh, yeah, well, I don't want to go on that story too much, but it's just something I remembered in terms of, I think was Karin mentioned, programming the machines. So the other part of what I'm asking Dr. Judith now, are we prepared? And will we like what we get at the end of the day?
I don't think we're prepared, and I don't think we'll like it. I think even the if you look at the panic and the fright and the fear about this virus right now, it's a telltale sign that anything that we don't understand or can comprehend or can fix or program is frightening to us. So I think it's going to get worse because man's basic thing is to feel control, is to feel empowered, is to feel in power. And the truth of the matter is that I think man is warring against himself with these computers. We keep feeding them. And the truth is this. I heard years ago that I think we use like less than 10% of our brain power. So we have these computers that we are feeding. And something interesting just occurred to me as you guys are talking, is that depending on who programs the computers, if somebody programs the computer with the vegetable thing, as you said, and I program the computer with the same information, because of my personality, because of my input, does that affect what I put in the computer? Somebody wrote something and I read it today, and they were actually talking about 3,120. What the person did is they wrote 3, space 120. Now that's an individual error, would you say?
I don't know. I see with or without the space is the same amount to me.
Well, you see, that's the problem. Well, not the problem, but that's the issue for me. I didn't read it that way. Because of that space, I looked at it and I read it to 3, and I was like, and the person said what you said. It's 3,120. I said, okay, but my perception of how it was written, it was not that. So it goes back to me, individuals perceive things differently. Therefore, individuals enter things differently. A comma, a period makes a big difference, whether it's money or whatever it is. So I think that we're going to run into more and more trouble because human beings are we always want more or different. And we have no idea why we want it. And like you said, when we get it, then we want something else. It never ends. It's always something else. And the truth is, we don't even know what we're looking for. I think we're looking for peace. I think we're looking for inner peace. And we find everything else, money and sex and this and that. But I think that we're seeking peace, and we think that you said something earlier. Even when they first had the plane, what's the name of the plane? What's it, Concorde? The fast plane?
Yeah, they had the Concorde.
Right. And somebody said it to me the other day, we think that movement means improvement. Our movement means success, and it's not true. Because you can be moving at the speed of lightning and still accomplish nothing. So I think, and that's the other thing, we like to invent and we like to fix and we like to rearrange. I can rearrange my living room, but once I sit down, it's still the same living room, still the same furniture in there. How I perceive my surrounding is what's important. And I think we're lost anyway. So
according to Dr. Judith, it all depends on the soul of that individual that's doing the computing. Sam mentioned something earlier on about the melanin content. So let me ask the question now. How involved are we in this whole AI game? Karin, how involved are we in this?
The problem with being able to answer that in an accurate manner is that or she said there is a problem in answering that properly. We know that women in this country, 25 to 30 something, low 30 percentile of the industry, tech industry. But as far as diversity, most companies do not break down the diversity to allow for statistical tracking. Even the larger companies, they don't break down their hiring policies based on diversity. So you
But do
don't
you
know.
find any of us involved in
Of
AI
course, you'll
right now?
find it, but it's as I said, it's 25, 33% for women, so it's much less for people of color and certainly women.
May I read something to you guys?
By all means.
Some information. There's this it's called STEM. Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And it has here a little rundown of African American females that's been involved. And I'm just going to just read a few of them. Dorothy Lavinia Brown was the first African American female surgeon. She practiced in the southeastern US during the 1900s. Rebecca Lee Crumpler was the first African American woman to become a physician. She graduated from New England Female Medical College as a doctor of medicine in 1864. Dr. Marie Daly was the first African American woman to earn a PhD in chemistry in the US. She earned her doctorate from Columbia University in 1947 and devoted her life to research and education, teaching and working as a biochemist. More recent, Mary Jackson was NASA's first African American female engineer, and she became an aeronautical engineer in 1958. She devoted her career as an engineer to creating reports and helping other women get STEM positions at NASA. And here's another one of note. Dr. Shirley Jackson was the second African American woman to graduate with a PhD in physics in the US and the first African American woman to graduate with a PhD from the Massachusetts Institute, MIT, of Technology. She received the National Medal of Science in 2015 during the presidency of Barack Obama. And they have some stats here about women of color and the figures in terms of women of color as opposed to whites. And of course, we are but like 5%. 5% in the field. So
everything I read was, for the bigger companies, they don't do a breakdown. They do not do a breakdown.
What I have noticed recently is a lot of young African American girls are pursuing medical careers, and they're pursuing like we're talking earlier, Karin and myself, about Mae Jemison, who was an astronaut. So the thing is that what I am concerned about right now, especially being in the school system, we have trouble. We have problems in the school system. The school where I work is predominantly black. It used to be predominantly white. And I mention that because the amount of fights that we have in that school, almost on a daily basis recently.
Wow.
Young black girls fighting each other.
Okay.
And we broke up 2 of them the other day. Some of these young ladies are bright. They're brilliant. And because I pay a lot of attention to different reports and news events. And there are a lot of young black girls who are becoming doctors, who want to be doctors. I mean, they're doing AP courses in high school, and they're going on to, one young lady here got 15 scholarships the other day.
Ooh.
She got as much as $6 million in scholarships.
Oh gosh, she did the work.
Yeah, another young black woman some months ago, she got so many scholarships. She was trying to find a way to share them with other students.
She needs to teach them how to do the work.
Well, the thing is that all of this stuff is going on. The focus is not on them, because the madness of the few is what we're hearing about. There's a black family of 5 doctors. There's 5 doctors.
As far as the augmented reality, we've talked about artificial intelligence, but as far as augmented reality, AR, or virtual reality, VR for short, the lady who is outshining most in this country for the last 15, 20 years is Mary Spiel.
Yeah,
she is a
Ghanaian sister, right? Yeah, Ghanaian sister.
Mm-hmm. Who begged her family when she was about 15, 16 years old to send her to the US. So she just looked around and basically this really is not it. I joke about that a lot because I've always felt that the human spirit, no matter what part of the globe you are born, no matter what condition, poverty stricken, with not even the slightest hint of what's outside of your world, sometimes there's something in your spirit that says, this is not it. And at age 16, her parents, her mom and dad, put some money together and sent her to the US. And her first job was in McDonald's. And she worked and put herself into the Air Force. And then she went on to advanced degrees. And she is an amazing person. She has developed a company called Creek VR, but she has supported larger companies like Boeing, Lucasfilms. She's in there. She's working with Facebook and the metaverse. She is considered the top of the line as far as the industry is concerned, with new technologies like 3D imaging in VR, with 4D headphones to be used. She's done some amazing inventions, and she's continues to be competitive with the best of the best and with the biggest companies.
I looked at that information you had sent. I looked at the link. The thing is that Steve Jobs, he had cancer.
Right.
I think it was prostate cancer, or not prostate, the other one. Anyway, whatever it was, one of the things he said as he got closer to dying, he basically said that, whatever he developed and all these great things that he did is wonderful. He said, but I wish I'd paid more attention to my daughter. I wish that I had lived a more emotional life and been more involved with the emotional side of life and compassion and caring and whatever. So that lady that you're talking about, all these people, my concern is, and I have great admiration for people that do great things. It's awesome. But if you're dealing with these terms, artificial, I almost said artificial insemination, artificial information,
augmented,
and virtual. The thing is not to be overcome with them. The creators often, not God that I believe in, the creators often overcome by the creation. And that's part of the problem that I think, whether you're black or white or whatever. And like I said, there are lots of young black women out there pursuing at Amazon. They have 2 black women right now who are actually offering or encouraging females to start businesses through Amazon. And I'm one of them, I think, is Tiffany Brown. I have to be in touch with her. But the thing is that those things are great. They're wonderful. But when you continue to use a word like artificial and combine it with human behavior and human interactions, we have to be careful that we don't start owing these creations something. And so we no longer are in charge. They say the prisoners have taken over the prison. That kind of thing, where we run the risk of believing in these things so much that we lose the human element. And that concerns me.
Well, I'll add something to that with what they call immersive virtual reality, where you have augmented reality that uses real settings, such as maybe a country setting, a setting in a particular country, or I was talking to someone in the prison system, and you're able to look at the entire country from a 3D perspective using like maybe glasses, smartphone with your glasses. And I love all of that. My concern, as you mentioned, your concerns, is that for children, I love it for children to learn about different cultures, different countries, and the list goes on, that they get so caught up, so immersed in the technology as they have in the last 50 years or so with your Xboxes and all of that. They get so caught up in the gaming portion. Although it's educational, they get totally fixated. You know, that fixational personality is still there. So they're just switching technologies. You know what I'm saying? And that concerns me. So if parents are not vigilant and say, listen, you have an hour, you have 2 hours,
Right.
that's it. That all day thing doesn't work for me. You can do a lot of the streaming now on these different platforms, including Miss Beal's platform Creek, is that you can live shows, you can stream live shows, and it's almost as if, because of that 3D vibe, you can feel as if you're in the show. You can interact with celebrities and different players in the platform, and you can really get caught up in this.
There's a reporter on Facebook I saw recently. He was interviewing this man, and I didn't catch the forum by which they were talking and this interview was being done. But the correspondent said to the man that he was talking, he said, "How often do you see your parents?" And the guy says, "Twice a year." And the correspondent said, "So, how old are your parents?" And he said, "Well, they're in their 70s." So the reporter said, "Listen, if you see them twice a year, how much longer do you think they might live? They're in their 70s. Maybe another 10 years, maybe." And he said, multiply that. How many times would you see your parents before they die? And the guy was thrown, because you're talking about 10 times 2. That's 20, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he's saying the way things have been going, you're likely to see them 20 more times in 10 years if they live that long. And what the guy was really talking about is something I've been trying to educate my family, share with them about for years. The last time you see somebody could be the last time you see them. Now, no computer can bring them back that I know of, and I want to know of.
But they're trying. They're trying.
Yeah, they can try all they want. But the reality is this: we must make use of our time. We have, especially the West Indians, we have come to this, Africans, everybody, we have come to this country and we have picked up all the stuff that they do here, and it's not all bad, it's not all good. And we move here, we move there. Somebody lives in Philadelphia and somebody lives in California, and worse with the virus. And so with the virus comes the Zoom and the this and the that and all that, those words we're using, artificial this, that's all we're doing is artificiality. And along with that, I can tell you what is happening. There's been a disingenuous, I use that word because, Curtis, that's one of Betty's favorite words, my little sister that died. Mm-hmm. She loved that word. There's a disingenuous feel to this country and this world. To me, people look you dead in the face. People always lie. But now they look you dead in the face and talk pure filth. And I actually said to somebody, maybe I should serve you toilet tissue when you speak. It doesn't make any sense. So we have become so blasted fake. We have become so artificial that we don't know when to get rid of this link and this stuff and talk real to people. And that's part of what is happening to us. And I always come back to that because above all else, I'm a communicator and I'm concerned about where we're going. I look at these young people in the school system. I look at them out in the street. When I tell you we're in deadly territory. We're in serious trouble.
But my thing is that what I find that one of the downsides, it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. Most of us are no longer critical thinkers.
That's another problem.
We depend on artificial intelligence to answer most of our questions, to solve most of our problems. Everything now, this word has become a verb. Google it.
Yes.
Google is a company. That is not a verb, but it has become a verb where you say, Google it. We Google almost everything.
Yeah.
We pick up the phone and say, gas station near me.
Yeah.
We go to what's the thing called? MapQuest. We go to MapQuest for most, if not all of our directions to everywhere we go. And I remember leaving New York City and driving to Texas, leaving New York City and driving to Montreal, to Toronto. That's before this smartphone came into existence, where I had to get certain directions. Either I keep it in my mind, or I write them down. You get to this exit, you make a left, and but critical thinking. And now we no longer do that. We depend on this here for everything. And here's one of my favorite of all. And I learn this sometimes, that I no longer have to use my brain as a toolbox to store unnecessary information like phone numbers. I simply scroll and I look for a photograph. I press a button. Voila. There's Judith. I have access to whoever I want without any more critical thinking. It's good on one side. And at the other end, it's bad, because how many of us are even aware that we depend on artificial intelligence on a daily basis?
But you know,
if you lose that phone, you're dead.
So you know what I did? I sat down and wrote down the numbers.
I did too.
Because it doesn't make any sense that this thing can fail us at any point. And we're acting like it has some kind of supreme power. It's man-made. It's man-manufactured. It has glitches. It's going to fail us at some point. So listen, one of the things that I'm struggling, like you said, the other day it occurred to me, my God, I don't have conversations with people anymore. So when I talk to Karin and when I talk to you, I have conversations. And we can rally back and forth.
What do I say to you, Sam, when I call you sometimes in the week? Sam and I used to talk on a regular basis before we got on this platform.
I can't say that on the show.
And then, no, but then I turn around and I say, what happened, Sam? I'm Mr. Tuesday now. You know, because I don't hear from him on Wednesday or Thursday or Friday anymore.
Yeah,
because
you clean it up. You Mr. Tuesday.
Trinidad Fly said she still asks for maps when she goes to
at the car rental place. Yeah, they still give them to you if you request it. But
there are positives.
Many of us do not request
smartphones.
them.
We're not bashing smartphones, because sometimes it's too dark in certain areas to read the map. Maybe a car fails.
Right.
You know, there's no.
What happened before?
You don't have a flashlight yourself.
I used to write it down. I used to get to the map, but I write down the thing and carry it with me. But
I had excellent memory.
But you know, I was gonna say, one of the reasons I truly believe, one of the reasons the incidence of dementia, younger and younger, we're not using it. And at the end of the day, I said, I need people around me that we can discuss things. We can discuss different topics. We can discuss Bible topics. We can discuss things because
discuss it with yourself.
It's not the same thing.
Listen,
I have
a habit. I have the ability to give myself jokes and slap my own leg. You understand?
That's what I'm talking about.
I do not, but I enjoy. Listen to this now. Listen to him now. I enjoy verbal intercourse.
So you could talk to Alexa.
No, I don't like Alexa. I don't like female voices. Can we touch on that? Why in heaven's name is all the GPS that I've ever had? You know, the GPS, like your Magellans and your
Woman Love Talk.
All of them, female voice. I cannot stand a female voice talking to me in a robotic. Yeah, that robotic voice, and it's female.
We have some classes.
Would you prefer if I was to speak to you?
No.
Listen, man. Listen.
So I don't think it's a female voice.
It's a female voice that bothers me.
No, I think you have a problem with people telling you what to do.
It's a female voice. I'm telling you, it's the female voice.
I think you have a problem with anybody telling you what to do.
It's on my nerves. I'm so
tired. It was a nice male voice.
Trini girl agreed with you. She says she don't like female voices either.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
Enough to hear. I don't need to hear somebody.
There is settings in your phone.
In the phone, but in the GPS, the old GPS unit.
There's settings in your device.
Not in the old GPS.
The kind of voice that's there.
I don't want to
Not in the old GPS, the little GPS units you used to put on the thing if you're doing a long distance thing.
Okay, before we go any further, just remember that you run technology. Technology does not run you.
In the VR world, technology run you.
Well, because you're going in a place where there's a whole next thing. But in this dimension, where there's gravity, and it is real.
What's real?
Neuron technology.
You know what? You know what? All this artificial and all these fancy words. You know what it has done? It has encouraged again. It has encouraged a level of deceitfulness. I remember this guy that I was talking to some time ago, and he would text me. I said to him, "Let me ask you a question. What's wrong with you talking to me on the phone? What's with this texting?" But he was hiding. It's like a man who calls everybody honey because he got 5 honeys and don't want to call the wrong name. So he was hiding behind his texting. So the thing is that what it encourages nasty behavior. And I'm one of those people who going to call you out and say, listen, I like to hear your voice. That challenged him. But eventually the true person came out because I knew something was off. So what a lot of these things, and again, remember the word is artificial. If it's artificial, it's fake.
But Dr. Judith, there's some people who will tell me, look, I respond to texts sooner.
Good.
So a lot of times they can't talk.
Good. Why?
Situation if they're on the job or whatever. For whatever reason, I know where you're trying to take it. I'm not going there with you with that.
Listen.
I am saying
has a purpose.
When I am doing business, yes, when I'm doing business, some of my clients will say, I will respond to you in a timely manner if you text me.
That's very different.
That's
very different from someone.
We're talking about you. You see, we're talking about using the technology. This is not our relationship. When somebody taking the technology and trying to fool you with it. We are using the technology, and we are talking about ways it can be used.
No, they're positive.
But people are using it negatively and positively. But I still say that we are living in a time where people use it to trick people up. I'm sorry. That's what people are doing.
Let me ask you all something though. Let me ask you all something. What about the trade-off? Are we as a species ready for the inevitable change that is to come? We mentioned this before. We're losing jobs on a massive scale to computerized machines. And let me go back to my buddy again, Elon Musk. He explained that the future might have a probable scenario where the only job will remain for human employment is for the human being writing the AI software. So are we ready for that kind of trade-off?
I don't think we are. The question is, who's going to stop it? It's not Musk, because Musk is making something out of it while Musk is doing what he's doing. Who's going to stop it?
But let me come to his defense though.
Well, nobody's going to stop anything. Technology is coming.
It needs to be regulated, if not necessarily stopped.
Let me answer Judith's question. Let me answer Judith's concern in what she said about Mr. Musk. He said that he invested in artificial intelligence. His initial investment was because he was concerned about where technology was heading. And this is why he invested, so that he can get involved, because he didn't want to sit on the sidelines and watch it go in a particular direction. He wanted to use it
make some money at the same
for the
time.
positive way and not just sit on the sidelines. He was concerned about where it was going.
Concerned about what? Because he wanted to make some money out of it.
Are we upset that he's making money? I mean,
I'm not. I'm just saying.
Listen.
You could be concerned and make money, right?
He's more interested in outer space than he is about where on Earth here. And like I said before, and I'll continue to say, we can barely walk straight on this earth.
Well, Dr. Judith, our solar sun here, it's said that it has already lived half its life. Okay? So there are suns that die. They call them a dune, right? That's what they call a sun. What they call the sun? The star that dies. What they call it? Not a dune.
I don't know.
You're not familiar with it. Okay, so the reason for wanting to go out of space is not really just about exploring.
No.
If the species is going to survive, man has to. Well, we're just talking about. We're not talking about the creation story here. We're talking.
Whatever.
We're talking about the other stuff. Regardless of which one comes first.
Oh yeah.
You're not going to space just to explore. You're going to space to understand how it works, because there's a chance that at some point the species here would have to go and find similar environments.
Samuel Archer. There are people in America starving to death.
Yeah.
Starving to death.
Yes.
How do we train them to be able to fish for themselves so they can yam and stop living on bridges?
People will always be starving to death.
Yeah, but that's an old story. We got to stop with
that. Judith?
But we got to stop with that. We've got to have a social responsibility. Elon Musk behind. They need to take care. We need to help people on Earth and stop with this. If you cannot waddle here, how the hell you going to walk straight up there? We keep getting into things that we can't fix. At least not now.
That is a byproduct. That is a byproduct. What we're talking about.
No, it's not a byproduct. It's a real.
There'll always be murderers. There'll always be thieves.
So you're telling me that this man should give up on his love, his area of interest, his passion, because no, you can't judge the man and say what you love or what you don't love.
Oh yes,
if he has an interest, he has an interest in space, has an interest in space, he has the God-given right to do whatever exploration he chooses.
Good.
That's his choice.
Good.
Okay, so then don't down the man for whatever he's doing.
I'm telling you that we must cultivate a social responsibility. We have zero social responsibility.
But no, I wouldn't say we have zero, Dr. Judith.
That's my personal opinion.
So whoever is starving and whatever we have famine going on over here, this man is living his dream, working on his passion. This is his. That's not for you to decide.
Found something to
that
do.
Is not for you to decide.
He found something to do that makes him money and gives him.
No, there was no money in it before. The love had to be there. I am not going to do that because I have no love for it.
Is not a dreamer.
I have no love for that. I will not do it. Let the man live his dream, and famine will continue. He can't solve that either.
That continues because people talk what you talk and what must talk.
It's not that the topics are completely contradictory. You're talking about social responsibility for the human race before we focus on going outside of the planet. Let's take care of what's on the planet before we spend out all this money to go outside. That I hear. This person pursuing his capitalistic ideas and stuff, that's just another thing. It's not necessarily that they can coexist, but I do agree that we need to focus on caring for each other here. I don't necessarily disagree with expansion or learning about other planets, but to say that poverty will always be around. That's I do believe that we have more. We need to take a more active role in caring for each other.
Nobody's trying.
I'm agreeing with both sides.
No. Listen,
Dr. Judith, there's a war. Hold on, Dr. Judith.
One at a time.
What are we doing one at a time?
People helped each other one at a time. But this is our thing. Oh, I have my own dreams. I have my own person. Let somebody else fix it. So that's why we continue to have certain problems in our society, because we're quick to say we don't have any sense of help your neighbor. We have no sense of that. There was a time. We don't have it anymore. And so whether Musk has a dream and whether he has whatever it is that he wants to do, and he's dreamt of this. Listen, this is where he lives. And if you can help 5 people become butlers or become garbage men, whatever, it's your social responsibility. I have a social responsibility. You see, I have a social responsibility, and I'm very serious about it. So that's
but Dr. Judith,
what?
There's a war going on right now. As somebody's being invaded by somebody else. Do we have a social responsibility for that?
Yes, we do.
Are we supposed to be talking about that tonight, or what?
Listen, it all verges. Don't listen. You can think that you can get away with certain things.
It's not a matter of getting away. The point is, if we're talking about a technology that pretty much is here, there's other parts of it that's going to. The internet we're using right now was around in the late 60s, early 70s. That the army was using before they brought it out to the public. So God alone knows the stuff that we even know that they're ready to release on the market yet. We have no clue. So we might have Internet 1, Internet 2, Internet 3, might go all the way up to Internet 100 and whatever.
In the process of all these advancements, the human spirit, Karin spoke about it earlier about that young lady from Africa. The human spirit must be emphasized. It must be encouraged. It must be taken care of. For a 16-year-old child in Africa to say our parents, I want to go to America. Help me to go there. That's a human spirit. That's a dream, as Curtis just said. And they found a way to get her here. It is that human spirit that we need to continue life on earth. And I say this only because I believe it. You can say artificial information is this, and all these wonderful things that we talk about. The reality is, if these things replace human communication, if it replaces human interaction, then we're in trouble. And the thing is that what we like to say, I say to my son a lot, and he says to me, well, that's the way things are going. Why is it going that way? Why is beer sales up? Why is it that a store sells a tremendous amount of beer? Why is it that certain parts of this country have more dollar stores and liquor stores than other parts of the country?
Well, okay.
About it. But we melanated people will not stand up and say, hey, I don't want this store in my community. I don't want this.
That's a bigger topic, Dr. Judith. That topic we had to talk about. Hold on. If you're gonna talk about those things, we had to talk about redlining and all of that. There's a whole system there. But before we run away, Dr. Judith, I want to thank Diana for you're correct. It's a dwarf star. When a sun dies. So I think if a moon, what is a dune? I know a dune is something. It's like when something dies.
What I know is like in the desert. A dune, D-U-N-E.
It's probably desert. I'm kind of confused in my brain here. But the dwarf star is when it dies and then actually it implodes. And once it implodes, it actually pulls everything in and it becomes a black hole eventually.
Right.
After some time. So if the sun is providing certain energy and certain things for plants and growth and all of that, and it's going to die, then if life intends to stay here, that life will die too. So that's why you have to start understanding science, understanding space, understanding how you can travel. But that's a whole other show.
And that here is just an extension. Hold on, Dr. Judith. That is an extension of what we saw in the 40s, in the 30s. Because when the first men strapped some wings to their arms and got up on a building and jumped off, everybody present looked at them and said, they're crazy. If God intended for us to fly, he would have given us wings. They are madmen trying to fly. And people believed in their dream and pursued that dream, and we have what we know today as airplanes, that we saw how that technology creeped up on them, and then we are today benefiting from it. AI is here, and I've stated in the many ways that we have grown comfortable with it, and we choose now what we want to be comfortable with, but we still grabbing pieces of it, right? We're grabbing pieces of it with the phone. And allow me to finish. And what I am saying, it's here, and whether Mr. Musk Mr. Jones, Mr. Edwards, pursue it. It's going to be done. So if not him, who?
Listen,
if not now, when? It will be done.
I'm not fighting against advancement. I'm not fighting against things that there's improvements and all of that. I'm saying that we have got to be careful about the human element. You talked about Google a while ago, like it's a verb. We have fallen into a hole with a lot of these things, and it is going to cause us, and it might already be causing us problems. But like I said, I believe some of the early dementia that we're dealing with, people in their 40s and 50s, I believe some of it comes directly from these things that we grab onto, and we use less and less brain power because we're lazier and lazier. Let me ask you all a question. I need to ask this question. Do you guys believe that there are things in this world that are in existence before we see it come to fruition?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you believe that everything created is good?
Not all technology is
You mean
positive.
from man, that man creates?
From man.
Not all technology is
No,
positive.
everything that
Do
we
you believe that people create things for different motives?
Absolutely. Oh my goodness.
Listen,
Throughout history, that's been true.
Well, I do believe a lot of things are created and other individuals use them for different things. In terms of like the laser. The laser, I cannot exactly remember what the laser was created for, but it was definitely not created to be used in some of the ways that it's being used today. Some of the negative ways that it's being used.
Night, Trini.
Listen, I am
good
not
night, Trini.
advancement. One of the reasons why coming to this country, I didn't come by boat, and somebody invented the ship and the boat. I came by plane. And it was a man flapping his arms that got me here. It was I understand. But I also know that because of the inherent evil in man, this is my thought process, that we will find something good and make it into a problem. I believe that. And I also believe that I have no business talking about certain things if I don't try to help. And I put my mouth where my money where my mouth is. If I tell you something, it's because I have a passion about it. I have had dreams all my life to do things. My dreams have always involved other people. My dreams have all never been one-dimensional, and it's just when I get some money, you see, that's not how I dream. That's not how, and I don't think it's because I'm a female. I don't think because I'm a black woman. I think because that's me. And I believe it is something I've taught my son. There's a social responsibility that we are losing to a great extent in this country and the world. And it is harming us. It is breaking down relationships, people, and I say it again, the disingenuous, the insincerity in human beings these days is at an all-time high. I'm talking about, I work in a school system where everybody have their jobs and where they go, whatever. I work in a school system that madness prevails. I mean, it is any day now we could have somebody in our school shooting the hell out of somebody, out of a bunch of people. That's how crazy it's become. And you know what all these kids having, you know what they have? Those little stupid wretches come to school with their breasts hanging out and their stomach hanging out and their damn phones stuck, some of them in their breasts, in their bra. And you know what they do? They go to class. There's a 5-year-old and a 4-year-old in Pembroke Pines who assaulted a teacher. This 5-year-old and this 4-year-old knocked the teacher down. And when the teacher was on the floor, she was dazed, and they started scratching her and beating on her. She ended up in the hospital. They say that they didn't charge the little boy. His backside would have been in prison, 5 years old or not. We have let children down in this country, and this thing here, they should not have it in the schools. They're in the classrooms with it, and the teacher is teaching, and they're facing it, and the teacher cannot teach properly. We're giving over a whole bunch of power to this stuff and to children who understand it quite well. And I'm saying from my perspective, when I broke up that fight the other day, I wish I could have slapped the crap out of that girl right across her face. Because you know what happened? Her mother's at home. Her parents are not, whether they're at work or at home. They had a meeting for them, a paneling they call it. You know that little wretch did? They didn't ask me to come. My picture was on the thing. They didn't ask me to come because them administrators know I'm crazy. they asked this white woman who I work with to come. And she went there and she played a fool of herself and they told her to leave. The bottom line is, the same little wretch who was pulling on the other one here, 2 black females. I mean, this is how one had the bun in her hand and the other one grabbing the weave. And when the teacher went to the paneling, that same little wretch, the violent one, the more aggressive one, she appeared in a dress. She appeared soft. All that violence that she portrayed that day was gone. And they asked the teacher, is this person the same person and that? She said, I can't tell. She said, I can't tell. Well, me, and I said, I tell you what, because our observant is the same looking wretch, just different clothes. I'm not wasting any time.
Okay, so let's bring it back home now to AI. I don't think AI was... information.
Right.
Okay, so could we highlight Diane's comment here? She said during COVID she was happy to have the internet and Zoom. Since she couldn't see her family in person, we were able to see them all the time. She created a family group on Facebook during COVID and feels like she got to know her cousins in London, even though she's never met them. Her mom talks to her sisters now via video twice a day in Trinidad. There are no more phone cards. We spend way too much money on phone cards. So I welcome some of the technology and as advancements. So she is showing ways that it has benefited her, it has benefited her family, and now she intends to use it for the good things that it has been doing and the good things that it has done. Allow me again, let me ask you all something. How likely is artificial intelligence to take over?
Pardon?
To take over?
How likely is artificial intelligence to
Didn't
take
you
over?
ask that earlier?
Did I?
Yes, you did.
It was one of the first questions you asked, and I was saying,
I did ask that?
Yes, you did.
Yes. Because
well, in a different way,
because going back to I did a lot of reading and whatnot on Judith's favorite guy that I'm talking about here tonight, Mr. Musk. And according to he was quoted as saying artificial intelligence is likely to overtake human beings in the next 5 years.
Tell Musk of payment price properly.
Okay, but you see, now this has nothing to do with how you feel about the man. We're talking about somebody who's actively involved, someone who is using it to his advantage, whether it's for monetary gains or not. He's using it. He's very involved in it. And this person is telling you, I am telling you, when you listen to this man, on once the man is basically sounding like it's doomsday in terms of where this technology is heading. And he's telling you that it's not a question of deciding. It is a question of the doers and what it is they're doing.
Oh, I got you. See, you have a high regard for people.
This has nothing to do with regard. I'm talking about research. Someone who is inside, someone who is doing it, is basically telling you, based on the technology and how they are using the technology and what you said a few minutes ago, some of the things that we don't even know are coming.
He's the epitome of artificial information.
That he's basically telling you, based on what other people are planning and what they are doing, that we are becoming less and less important in the whole scheme of things.
And you know something? That's his position in this world. He's supposed to say those things. He's supposed to say those things. That's how we, what you call it? That's how we train people. That's how we get people thinking stupid by people that have money telling us how we ought to think. Why would I?
Nobody says that's how you're supposed to think.
But you're talking about that. That's what you're saying.
That's not thinking. We're discussing a subject matter. I am telling you about an individual who is in the heart of what's going on, and based on what he's saying and his comments.
In the heart of
I'm telling you.
In the heart of nothing.
He's not. He's not using it. He's not using it on his vehicle.
He's not in the heart of anything.
So he's not using it. He didn't use it on PayPal. He's not using it on SpaceX. He's not using it.
Listen,
he's not using it in Tesla.
I'm going to tell you again. He has accomplishments that impress people. I don't rate him as a human being. You understand? I don't personally.
But that's not what you're saying, though. That is not what you're saying.
I am saying what you're saying is that this man forecasting, he doesn't have the power to forecast anything because he has money. That don't make him a forecaster.
Wait, hold up. Well, I am not thinking. Okay, is in the context of artificial intelligence taking over? When he says that, is he in the context of, well, it's actually going to be taking over everything, or is it more in terms of, okay, we're talking about the job market, we're talking about the type of devices that's going to be out here for humans to use? Like, in what context he meant that AI was going to take over?
He's saying based on the improvements that they're making, in the future, AI will probably get smarter than a whole lot of humans, the relative intelligence ratio. And this is not something that he's forecasting in a year. He's saying that we need to be careful about the advancement of AI. That's what he's saying. It's a warning because people, based on how they are using it,
who is making
based on how they are using it to replace us. When you look at if you go to we spoke about this before. So you want to go someplace. Remember the days when you go, you call a travel agent, you do this. We're no longer doing any of that, right? You could leave, you go to the airport. You don't even have to stand in line anymore. You use this, you scan, boom, boom, boom. Jobs are being replaced by artificial intelligence. And this is just the cusp. He's stating, based on where things are going, that is something we need to pay attention to and be careful.
Okay,
because it is going down a dark path.
May I ask you a question? Is he giving us any solution to stop this process?
So if someone states an observation, do they have to give a solution?
Well, if
I have to give a solution because I'm echoing it?
If it's destructive and you have any kind of responsibility towards the people you're talking to, don't you have an idea of how we can stop this process that's going forward in 5 years? I mean,
but I'm asking you,
okay, but
do I have to have a solution because I'm echoing it?
But Curtis, she asked the question.
I'm asking
the question was, is he giving any idea of any solutions? It's not an attack on the person.
Not idea on solutions. Idea on solutions, not from what I have read. I haven't read everything. I haven't listened. I haven't listened to everything. I cannot quote everything that he has said.
It's doomsday. So he said,
I use the word. I use that word.
It's not a doomsday thing, but what I'm saying,
I use the word.
Him saying be careful is his solution.
He's part of the problem. And he's going to listen, man.
But look, before AI, we've been dealing with the gun companies, right? The companies that make the guns and the whatever you call them, right? They have this gun, that gun, all kind of gun on the road. I mean, available to people. Gun that's supposed to be used in war. You could have that in your house. Gun for certain situations. So it's the same thing. We're dealing with guns. You have an association that are proven and say everybody could get a gun. This one could get a gun and that one could get a gun. Some of the states, they're dumbing down the laws and all of that. So it's the same thing. Now, I don't know if that's where they're going with it in terms of the extreme, but the point is, if someone say AI taking over, it's like, I remember in soca, like we'll have Labor Day in New York, right? And a lot of the music started coming from Barbados. So then we had a term called the Bajan invasion, right? But that had to do,
I remember that.
That had to do with the music. Now, the Bajan invasion meant that, okay, you had Alison Hines, you had Square One, you had Red RPG, what is it? Red Plastic Bag, that's what RP, what is it? RPB. But you had a whole host of artists from one place that was bringing a lot of the leading songs, right? Now, it didn't mean that Trinidad died and Grenada died and Jamaica died and all of these places died. It just meant that in that moment, Barbados was leading in music. So when I say AI will take over, it doesn't sound to me in the context of, well, all right, it's a doomsday and everybody got dead because whatever. But the life is evolving, technology is evolving. So the type of computers that you're gonna have to use where you can check in early and you get on your flight and you go to the gas station. Put it this way, you go in the grocery right now, Dr. Judith. The lines where you could actually see a human behind the cash register is probably under 10 right now.
You know how that happened?
The next set of line.
You know how that happened?
How it happened?
A systematic plan. But
is that a plan?
I can talk.
Well,
wait a minute. That's a major issue with me. It's a systematic plan.
Okay.
That Walmart Enterprises had. And what they did, they brought these machines in that were programmed by men, capital M. And so what they did, because we human beings are lazy, we're not thinking about anything but our lazy selves. And I started saying to people, watch those machines. People are gonna lose their jobs. Stop using those machines. I said it to people everywhere I went, anywhere I think I could. Listen to me, let me finish. And so what they were doing, they were calculating how many people were using them. And so when they got a number that satisfied them, they started getting rid of the cashiers. I don't use those machines till this day. If I have one item, I'll stand on the damn line and wait to get to a human being. Why? They need the job. The problem is, again, AI and whatever you want to call it, but social responsibility. The bottom line is not everything that comes in we must use. Not everything. We are lazy. We are it's all about pleasure. It's about us. And so if people have been heeding, and I'm not the only one that said it. I'm not the only one. I don't have Elon Musk money. But I saw what was going on. And I kept alerting people, stop using those machines because these cashiers are going to lose their jobs. And when it started happening locally, there's, oh my God, people are, well, this little idiot was telling you. So the bottom line is that we have no sense of responsibility towards anybody but our damn self.
Okay, so Dr. Judith, we need to send this message to the controllers and the rulers.
I know I'm on solid ground. I know what I'm saying.
Okay, because look, how many people using Easy Pass right now? Where the places I drive right now, there are no toll booths personnel.
Toll collectors.
You're driving through.
All they do, all these people do, they introduce something to us. And it's the poor people who do it. Rich people don't do the stupid things that we do. And they introduce something to us and we just yam it up.
But rich or poor, you have no choice on the highway right now.
You had a you're using Easy Pass.
When we had a choice, we didn't do nothing about it. When we could have chosen or voted against it or whatever it was, we didn't do a thing about it. We're like sitting ducks. Man, I got a headache. Listen.
But once again, you have a private company who runs a particular business, and they are now changing their business to suit the times. They're changing their business to suit the times, and we can't do anything about that.
Listen. Yes, okay. All right, whatever. So give up and let them run you behind in the ground.
There is no giving up. There is no booth with a toll attendant for you to drive through.
Walmart, they wouldn't have been able to do it.
But then what do you do now?
Self-centered.
There is no booth with a toll attendant. What do you do?
Why did it get to this place?
We had no choice. They changed their business.
You're lying.
What choice you had? What choice you had?
Boycott. Listen.
Boycott. Don't drive on the highway.
Let me tell you something. People here in Georgia said some years ago, we're not buying gas. We're not buying, black people, we're not buying gas tomorrow. What did the damn fools do? Go on a Wednesday night and fill up every blasted thing. We're stupid and we're self-centered. And that's why the world is in the state that it's in. I've been around a little while, and it's not because I've been around a little while observing. And I'm telling you, our desire, I told somebody the other day, her love of pleasure is going to kill her. Because you have to have discipline even when you have pleasure. And the world is the way it is because we have given up I saw a cartoon the other day. One dog had a dish with food in it. And the arrow said politician. And two dogs came. No, two dogs started fighting over what was in the dish. One person come. And the two fools start arguing about the one person. And while the idiot them and one another, the politician was there and after all them food. That is the world that we live in. We are weak and we are pleasure driven. And these people come and they have money. Let me tell you something. If I die saying what I say, I'll die saying what I say.
But okay,
what I'm saying.
Before we leave, I gotta cover this point. How far is too far? How far is too far? Where do you recommend that?
I know for me, when the human element, when the human being, when the compassion and the whole makeup of being a soul of a human being, when that is second place, when that almost no longer exists, I personally do not want to live in a world like that. I personally.
Okay, all right, that's fine. Let me hear, Karen. How far is too far?
For me, too far is when you're violating certain ethical laws.
That's the word.
When you're using animals and creating a new animal, trying to create a human being through a variety of mediums. And when you're violating people's privacy, those have gone too far for me. Way too far.
Sam, how far is too far for you?
I don't really have if it's too far or not. It's the way I see it. You're standing up by the beach and waves are coming in, and it's either you're riding the wave, you're diving in the wave, or you're gonna just stay on the shore. As to how far it is, what might be far for me.
Where do you draw the line? Where do you draw the line? What do you see that gets?
There's no line to draw. There's no line to draw. Why drawing a line for? I'm not controlling it to say, well, we stop in here.
Wow.
So it's whoever controlling it.
Wow.
If it's the politician controlling it, if it's the corporations controlling it, the people that making the rules controlling it.
Wow.
For me, it's the gender modification.
All right, go ahead.
Where they can go in there and actually change the sex of an egg, of a sperm, where they can say, well, oops, nope, too many women, change that into a boy. That's the line for me. To me, that's too far. That's where I draw the line. That's too far for me.
May I ask a question? May I ask a question?
That's a question you just asked.
Listen, in order to get to that egg and changing that sperm, some other things had to happen. And that's all I got to say. Because once you allow one thing, they say, oh,
I'm glad you brought that up. You see now, you looking at it as the person allowing it to happen and actually volunteering and laying down on a table. But what about the other things that they do and they give to you under the guise of something else, but you're just like sheep and you go ahead and you do it?
Listen, this sheep don't knowingly go along with things. So I can admit that I don't know everything. And I'm sure I've been duped at different times in my life without knowing. I have no problem with that. I'm a human being. I have no problem saying that. But
let's also add DNA manipulation, where a couple wants to conceive and they want to determine eye color, hair color, all kinds of. It's a designer baby of sorts.
Right.
And I do have issues with that.
Right. And you said the word, Karin, that I should have said is ethical. The teacher that I work with said to me today, she said, there's a certain things you can do because you have a high ethical standing. It doesn't mean that Judith has it together. What it means is that I have an idea from my life and the life that I choose to live. What is ethical in terms of human life and human behavior? And so for me, I believe that what we allow, that's why people think I'm difficult. Because once you allow somebody to get in a little bit, and this is a totally different horse, but I think it exhibits what I'm trying to say. I remember asking a group of women that I work with in the prison system in Florida. I said, listen, ladies, since we're all from different islands, we're from different countries, why don't we start eating together and bringing food from our different countries? And we can share lunchtime. You bring from your country, I bring from, we have, because I'm always into togetherness. And they brought the food and we started having lunch together. I am not a gossiper. I don't like it and I don't participate in it. I try my best to be very careful what I say about others. Very careful. And certainly, I only talk about nobody's business. And we had our second meeting. And the ladies, somebody started talking about somebody. And this is what Judith said. Who? What? I heard me. Those women are known gossipers. I said to them, ladies, really love this idea. Can't meet with you again. Know why? It takes one round of gossiping before I know I could become the major gossiper. Is that overdoing this life that I live? No. Those are standards that are important to me. I never met with them again. And I tell them, I said, listen, love you all, but I can't do this because it leaves a stench with me. It's called individual responsibility, but it's also an accountability, and it's about social responsibility also. And people say, there's a woman at my job tell me, oh, you talk about God all the time. I say, I tell you what, it's a good thing I know him, because if I never know him, you'd stop and talk to me like that. The bottom line is nobody wants to stand out for certain things anymore. We all want to get along and we all want to enjoy the same things. And why should I shut our mouth? Just spoil up everything. Well, guess what? Too late. And those are the kind of standards that I have. And I'll continue to say, if I allow one little thing, it's easy to get another thing in and another thing. So I watch over my own self as much as I can because of that concern.
So Diane Roxanne said it's effective, and that's why we have both system at the grocery. So some can go in the line with a person, and some can go to the self-checkout. I don't want to go back to chalkboard and slate. She said technology has its bad side, but it's done so much good.
True.
And speaking about the good of technology, as we bring this wonderful conversation to a close, I have to ask you all, and be real. What do you enjoy most about artificial intelligence? I mean, how does it enhance your life? What do you like most about what it does for you today? Talk to me, Ms. Forrester.
Although I love a physical book, I'm not into ebooks and audiobooks at all. But for the younger generation, what I enjoy is their ability to have access to any part of the world using AR, augmented reality, or, using the goggles with a smartphone and seeing different parts of the world and learning about other people outside of themselves. People who look like them, but have completely different lifestyles, cultures, foods, everything. To be able to that immersive technology, that's one of the newest terms I've seen, that to immerse themselves into that world and feel as if they're physically there on a field with children their own age playing a certain game or playing a musical instrument, whatever the thing, to use real settings and immerse themselves into the technology. And the accessibility of information is unequaled to anything I grew up with. As I said before, had to reach for a Encyclopedia Britannica if I wanted to get some information on anything, and they have it at their fingertips within seconds. And accurate information because they have multiple sources. So that part I love.
Miss B, tell me what you love.
Who is that? Who is Miss B? Miss B in there?
If you met me choke, you see, I forgot to call 911.
I basically agree with what Karin just said.
Me ask you if you agree.
Accessibility. I visited Africa. You know, I said to a Jamaican once, you know, about going to Africa. Oh, what? What said to me? Oh, we call the word now. All that bush. I'm Africa. I said, you're a damn fool. Excuse me. I said, Africa is a continent. It's made up of many countries. It has its own beauty. It's where most of we come from. Me? I come from Africa. I said, no, man, you're right. You're slow as hell. How would you come from there? I went on not long ago and I looked at different countries in Africa, the beauty, the beaches, all these places that black people swear is not in Africa, only Europe and wherever. There's nothing good in Africa. So I have traveled and I pray one day I'll be able to go to Africa, especially Ghana. I'm interested in going to. So, and I promised a friend of mine that I would come to South Africa. I want to go places, not just other places. I want to go places where people look like me and whatever it is they're doing, I want to see what they're doing. So information-wise, as one of the ladies there just said, the technology has done great things. Surgery, in the hospitals, the amount of things that technology has done, has accomplished is awesome. But when we start behaving like the created thing is more important than the person who created it, we're in trouble. That's my personal opinion. So all the stuff that it has done, I mean, Google, like you said, you can go on there and get all the information in the world. Some of it is not true. Some of it is not real. You have to have enough sense to know that not everything that's out there is correct. So my thought is use it. Don't let it use you. Use it correctly. Use it as an enhancement. Use it to help lives. Not make it be the thing. Not make it be the focus. That is my final take on it.
Mr. Archer.
Yeah. I have some notations here. You know, I remember I looked at a couple movies ages ago. One of the movies I remember checking out was a movie called Alien. And there was a character in the Alien there called, it was a droid. And the droid was more is a robot, but it looked human. You know, so that was an interesting character. And if you guys ever get to follow the Alien movie, starring what's the lady name again?
Sigourney Weaver.
Sigourney
Weaver.
Yeah. It sort of gives an interesting and why I like these futuristic movies is that which is really the cycle of how things work. You know, you have someone who will come up with a story. They come up with a concept. Hey, they have the story. So, for example, you have Star Wars and Star Trek and all these things. And notable, one of the technologies that Star Trek brought to the table was the automatic doors. That when we go to these stores or we go to the mall or we go to certain places and you're walking, you know, the door will sense that someone is coming and then the doors would open. And I always like to play I have powers, so I would walk up to the door and put my hand forward, you know, and then the doors open and I feel like I'm a superhero, right? So Dr. Judith, you should try that sometimes. When you walk up to the power doors, just put your hand out like if you have the power, and then the doors will just open. It's a very nice feeling. You should try it out.
Sure.
Yeah. And even when I stop at the light, you know, you stop at the light at the intersection in your car, and then you can time it, and then I put my hand out like I'm going to change the light, but from where I'm sitting, and then the light turns green. It's like I'm a very powerful person, and then I mash the accelerator. And you know, it's just that the technology and all of this is surrounding us all over the place. So so now we have Apple phones and we have Android. So when you have Android, you know, I guess we have to figure out what the "and" in front of the droid means. If you don't like Apple phones, you have Android. So that is part of your homework. You all could go and find out why they put in the "and" in front of the word droid. Because droid is supposed to be half robot, half human. So when they put the "and" in front of it, I know what that's supposed to mean. So that is part of your homework. You all could figure that out. But I will join Karin and Dr. Judith in saying you run the technology opposed to the technology running you. All right. So I'd like to end there. But this was a really enlightening convo. And to you, brethren, handle your thing on that side over there.
Yeah, so just a friendly reminder to all the people that are listening, all the people that are still in the chat, and to those of you hearing this for the first time, please go to YouTube, smash that subscribe button, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification button so that you can stay informed whenever we upload new programming. I also urge you, if you found any wealth, any good in anything that we've said tonight, share this information. Do not keep it to yourself. Share the information with someone who you know can benefit from it and help the channel to grow. Help us spread the word. Help us help you. For me personally, my observation over time is that a lot of the technology we saw in movies many years ago are now real. I remember in Star Trek when Captain Kirk used to say, "Beam me up, Scotty." That's a Bluetooth. That was from the 60s. We're using it today, Bluetooth. He had a flip phone, click, and talk, communicate with the Enterprise. That's become real over time. The fax machine, this was actually invented way back in the 50s. It didn't come into fruition until when? Somewhere in the 80s, I believe. So a lot of the stuff that are now dreams will eventually become reality in the future. Just as a lot of the stuff that we're seeing now was someone's dream many moons ago. It may have been impractical then, but it's relevant today. My introduction to this whole technology thing and internet as we're using it today was Facebook. That's how I got involved, because I enjoy the fact that when someone told me, I have a colleague of mine in New York, and let me pay homage by the name of Miss Gay, Pat Gay, and she said, "Wait a minute, you still on that what's the other thing called, Sam, before Facebook?"
MySpace.
She said, "You still on that MySpace? You heard about Facebook?" I said, "No, what's that?" She said, "Let me hook you up with this thing, man. Boom, 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 boom." And then she said, "Yeah, you could talk to any." I said, "Wait, I could talk to people in Trinidad for free?" No, sign me up. Because I was thinking about my goddaughter who had moved to Barbados. I was thinking about her for quite a long time. And when I heard that I could get on this thing called Facebook and converse with my goddaughter in Barbados without having to buy a phone card, I was like, wow, I'm done with that. For free, I'm done with that. Today, the walls that divided us have been torn down. The seas that have separated us are not so distant anymore. What I like about this is that I could come here every Tuesday night and look on my friend there, so. Look on Dr. Judith. How much years now, me know you? Me stop count.
Good family.
That I could come and sit down here and hold an entire conversation and argue with you. This ain't nothing new, what you see here, people. Me and her been arguing from day one. We argue, differences in opinion. She somehow doesn't realize up to now, so I'm smarter than her. But one day she's gonna get it.
That's okay.
So I enjoyed it. This is what I love about this technology, that I could come here and sit and look at Dr. Judith after 35 years of friendship. And I can sit here and talk and argue the same way and nothing not change. Nothing not change. Because you still don't realize them is smarter than you.
No, but that's okay because
technology, that's not a question. That's not for debate.
I can learn.
Technology, I love the fact that I can sit down here and chat with my brethren Sam. But I hate the fact that now is only Tuesday night we get to talk. I have become Mr. Tuesday. Him not call me again during the week. We don't talk again during the week like we used to. Now it's just Tuesday night. But it's all right. I love the fact. So what I'd like to say to people, regardless of where your moral compass may point, change is coming.
Mm-hmm.
Some will say that change is already here. Adapt or die.
Oh, really?
Peace and blessings.
Bless.
Hi, I'm Dr. Judith Barnes. I'm an author, a playwright, poet. I'm also a broadcaster by training, and I recently found out about 2 years ago that I can paint paintings, which means I paint sceneries, I paint landscape, I paint animals. I have just discovered, and so that I can do this. And so along with all the other gifts and talents that I've been blessed with, I have paintings, and they are on view and for sale on Etsy and also on Facebook. And if you desire to order any painting or order one of my books, because I'm also an author, please give me a call at 470-564-8267. That's Dr. Judith, and the number again, whether you want to just talk to me or order one of my paintings or one of my books, please feel free to call 470-564-8267. Thank you.
Hello there and welcome. My name is Curtis Henry. Over the past few weeks, as we were putting the final pieces together to get the show on the road, some people asked, why do you need to showcase Caribbean people? Why Caribbean Chatt? And I say, why not? Because we as Caribbean people have worked too hard, come too far, and suffered too long for us to continue taking a backseat. It's time for us to rise up, speak out, and show the world the value and the richness of our culture. So I'm providing a platform to showcase the history and culture of Caribbean people in entertainment, the arts, politics, sports, and economics. We will explore the many profound contributions they have made to society. So we invite you to stay with us as we launch what is to become one of the greatest voices of Caribbean people, for Caribbean people, by Caribbean people. On this platform, Caribbean people of excellence get to tell their story. Our aim is to ensure that your contributions are acknowledged and celebrated. Welcome to Caribbean Chatt. So make sure you like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and be sure to hit that subscribe button on YouTube. We are Caribbean Chatt.